Woke up in a headspace of a ghost gone wrong, like I don't exist. I guess I'll just stay home again. In line for the airplane, a knife in my back with your fingerprints. Tick, tick, tick on the second hand. And what to say, I don't know. What the hell did I hope for? God, this place is so cold. Is this life after post-war? All the world in my phone, all the feel in my throat sore. Maybe I should just go. Maybe I should just go home. Find me in my safe place, curled up tight, I don't have to think. No lights on in the aftermath. I'm still waiting for a daybreak. Sunrise eyes, can you comfort me? Stay right here till it all comes back. And what to say, I don't know. What the hell did I hope for? God, this place is so cold. Is this life after post-war? All the world in my phone, all the feel in my throat sore. Maybe I should just go. Maybe I should just go home. If you miss me so, why is disappearing easy? If you love me so, why do we never speak? If you truly care, could you just be there? If you truly care, could you just be there? What to say, I don't know. What the hell did I hope for? God, this place is so cold. Is this life after post-war? All the world in my phone, all the feel in my throat sore. Maybe I should just go. Maybe I should just go home.
What's going on? What's going on? It's just another Thursday in the Tamale Mafia universe here at the Tamale Mafia podcast, the place where everything and nothing collide. So normally I end with that first opening track. That's our outro music. I use the instrumental version of from our good dear friend Lim. But today I thought, you know what, why not stick it up front so I can play the full lyrical version. Man, love that guy, love that music. He did that whole thing himself. That whole album, it took him like a year to do it, but all the sounds you hear, all the vocals, all the layers, all the like breaths and breathing and like everything that's in that track, he created himself. By himself. So that's one of the reasons why I love that music so much, is because I know the work that he put into it, and I really, really respect it. I don't think I could do it. I don't know, maybe I could, but I don't think I have the patience to spend a year doing that. Oh man, so how are you guys doing? Huh? Did you guys enjoy the Monday episode? Did y'all enjoy the Monday episode there? The masculinity conversation I had with my best bud Brewster. I hope to get Brewster back, and he will. He'll come back because I love talking with him, and we always have good conversations about good topics. And sometimes things don't go the way we plan them to because we'll get stuck on a topic, and then we'll chase it down way deep down a rabbit hole, and that's always interesting. But so let's see. A few of you guys checked out that episode, so that's good. That's good. Thank you. Appreciate that. I want to say, before I go too much further, I want to say hello. I wish I knew how to say it in the proper language, but this guy or girl or other over in the Netherlands, man, welcome to the show. You have become one of my favorite people. I don't know how you found us, but the fact that you keep downloading new episodes on the day they come out just makes me so happy. I'm assuming you understand English. Do they speak English in the Netherlands? What do they speak in the Netherlands? I don't even know. Let's Google that. Hang on. Okay. What do they speak in the Netherlands? Dutch. Oh. Dutch, German, and more languages in the Netherlands. Dutch. So how do you say hello in Dutch? Hallo. Is it that simple? Oh man, we couldn't hear it, could we? Let's see here. Turn the music down here for a sec.
Hello.
That's English.
Hallo.
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 Oh man, that's so gangster. Hallo, like holla. Hallo, friend in Netherlands. Let's see. Welcome to the show.
Welkom bij de show.
Welkom bij de show.
Welkom bij de show.
Bij de show. Welkom bij de show.
Welcome to the show.
Welkom bij de show.
Welkom bij de show.
You're awesome.
Je bent geweldig.
What?
Je bent geweldig.
Geweldig. Je bent geweldig. Je bent geweldig.
Je bent geweldig.
Je bent geweldig. Ugh.
You're awesome.
Je bent geweldig.
All right. So, hello to our pal in the Neths. Hey, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Tamale Mafia, and say hello. Say hello there. Let me know who you are, and maybe we can figure out how you found us, and then from there, I don't know. Maybe I can send you something. I could send you. I don't know what I don't know what I have around here to send you, but I can send you something. Anyway, I'll send you my dog. No, I wouldn't do that to my dog. Put him on a boat. Riley, you want to go on a boat? You want to go on a boat trip to the Netherlands? He doesn't look that intrigued by that. Let's see. I don't know. I'll send you something. I'll send you a hat. It's not a Tamale Mafia hat. It's an old hat. It's an old Dallas Cowboys hat, all sweaty and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool because I was like, wow, somebody in the Netherlands, and then the Netherlands listener just keeps every time I put out a new episode, bang, one of the first people to download right out of the Netherlands. So that's pretty cool. That's more than I can say for even myself. Sometimes I don't even listen to the show. I try to, but it's like I was there. I was there when I said it, and I was there when I edited it. Do I really have to listen to it again? I mean, struggling to get you guys to listen to it once, and I'm trying to listen to it 4 times. Come on. Give me a break here. Anyway, Australia and France. Hey, Australia came back. Hang on a sec. Let's go back. Australia came back. They kind of fell off. They fell off for a little bit. Where did you guys come back? Brisbane. Hey, Brizzy. Thanks for listening, Brizzy. I wish it would tell me what episode you came back on, but I'm sure I can figure it out in the long haul. And we have a listener from France. And hey, France, sorry about to hear about the old Notre Dame, man. But I'm glad it wasn't as bad as everybody thought. We initially thought the thing was burned to the ground, and that was horrific. The thought of that, because I was like, dude, I never got to go over and see it. And I love old Catholic churches. Like, I love going in them, and just there's just a feeling, like a spiritual feeling. I can't explain it unless you've been there and you understand what I'm talking about. But when you walk into an old ancient Catholic church that's like way older than you and your grandparents and your great grandparents, you know, something that's been there for well over 100 years, maybe over 200 years. But when you walk into one of these places and then you see, like, they have a little thing that says, like, this wall here was part of the original structure that was built in like 1504 or something. You're like, oh my God, how is that still there? How does that still exist after so many years? It's amazing. Anyway, there's just a feeling, there's like an energy that you get from it. And I love it. I love going into those old places. And it's kind of like it's maybe creepy, a little bit creepy sometimes. But, you know, that's probably just the movies in my head. So anyway, what's up with the United States here? What's up? Burleson kicking ass. Remember when Burleson had one listener for like 3 solid weeks? Then I was like, come on, Burleson. I know most of that city can't stand me. I'm an enemy of that city. In fact, when I go there, it's like they meet me at the little city limits there. They always have a little blockade, and I'm not allowed through. The checking IDs, and they're like, "Oh, it's you, get out of here." Obviously, I'm exaggerating that. That's not true, but that city and I have history, and mostly because I worked at several churches in that city. And it's a little tiny city with the most amount of churches of any city you'll ever go to. It's like a little bitty, I would call it maybe a town. It's a little city. It doesn't have that many people, but you could probably go to a new church in that city. Like, if you went every Sunday to a new church, you could probably go for like 6 months without doubling back. There's literally churches that share parking lots and build across the street from each other. And then if you have like one church that's like, oh, we can't get along, and then they split, then now you have 2 churches, and they will build across the street from each other, and then battle for people. Anyway, Burleson, I'm sorry for shitting on you. I keep shitting on Burleson, but that city and I. Anyway, whoever's listening in Burleson, man, thanks. But I'd also kind of like to know who you are too. Because are you listening because you're a fan, or are you listening because you're just trying to figure out what the hell is this guy up to now? Because when I see the name Burleson pop up on the list, I think, oh yeah, that's somebody trying to check up on me. What the hell is that guy up to now? So maybe not. Dallas slacking a little bit. My Dallas friends slacking this past couple of weeks. San Antonio coming in strong. Houston really strong. Where are all my Houston listeners? How come I have so many listeners in Houston? And I didn't think I knew anybody in Houston. So that's interesting. And then a bunch of other places. Oh, Kerrville. Awesome. Austin. All right, Austin. Arlington coming in with 1. Way to go. Little Rock, Arkansas. Nice. Hey, Northport. Somebody's listening in Northport, Florida. I used to live in Northport, Florida. I got some friends there. So whichever one of you is listening, it's just one of you. Thanks. And don't be a stranger. Jeez. Philadelphia, can't say I know who that is, but I've never really been a fan of that city. I need to stop shitting on people that are listening to my podcast. I'm over here like, I want more people to listen to my podcast, and then I go through the city list, and I'm like, oh, fuck that city. Sorry. I'll stop. Hello. Where'd my music go? Oh, here we go. Yo, if you like this podcast, you can find it all over the place. Anywhere podcasts are found, you will find this podcast. All you gotta do is hit the old Google, go to your favorite podcast app, listening device, platform, whatever. Hit the search bar there. Type in Tamale Mafia. We're the only one. You don't have to contend with a list of 1,000 and try to find my picture. Now, they'll give you other results that they think are close because they want to have a list, but we are the official and the only Tamale Mafia podcast. Now, as usual, if you find this podcast interesting in any way, I ask that you tell your friends about it. Do a little like, a comment, a share, send a link over to somebody, tell them, hey, listen to this. Our friend over in the Netherlands, I believe you've done that. I trust that you have told your friends because I think there's more than one listener in the Netherlands. So tell your friends and have them listen, and then they will tell their friends, and then they will listen, and this thing will just keep growing. Why do I want it to grow? I don't know. But I've got goals in mind. And some of my goals are listener-based. So once I get to a certain number of goals, listeners, downloads, whatever, I will put out a new form of, or open a new idea. I will dig in the old hat, pull something out, and then a new thing will be available here. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. I've got some ideas for things coming up. I'll release extra content. I'll start doing video stuff. There's like things that I have in mind. There's ideas that I have, but I got to hit my listener-based goals first. And you can help me do that. Yes, you can. All right, have you guys been watching the old NBA on TNT or ESPN or whatever channel you're watching the games on? The playoffs are on, and I used to be a huge basketball fan. I mean, basketball was kind of my life for a little while. Used to play basketball all the time, every day, as much as I could. I started playing basketball when I was, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years old. And then really didn't start getting into it till I was about probably 10, 11. And then it was just like I couldn't get enough basketball. And then I just played more and more and more and more until I blew my knees out. And then less and less and less and less. and then one day, I was at this summer camp because my band had gone to play music at this camp for the week. And I was at this summer camp and there was this cute girl there. And I was hanging with her and she was like, "Do you play basketball? I love basketball." And I was like, "Hell yeah." I didn't say hell because it was a Christian summer camp. I was like, heck yes. Excuse my French. And then, so she was like, "I'll play you 1-on-1." And so we go to the basketball court and I'm like, I'm going to show this girl who is the man of basketball. Now, mind you, I hadn't really played in years. And so, I would thought it was like all the old me that hadn't played basketball in years, like all that old version of me as a basketball player would just come right back and I would have no struggle whatsoever. I would just flow right back into my killer crossover because I was a Tim Hardaway fan and I practiced and practiced and practiced the crossover. That was like my main move because as a shorter basketball player, I was tasked with being a point guard. And as a point guard, as a small point guard, I was fast and quick on the dribble. And then my favorite thing to do was to cross somebody over, break their ankles, drive the lane, create the congestion with all the big guys coming in like, "Oh, I'm going to block that shit." And then pass out to an open man on the perimeter for a jump shot or a long three or something like that. I loved that because I was always like, that's what you get for, coming after me and leaving your man open, you loser. And so that was like my favorite thing to do. So crossover, drive the lane, assist to the guy on the outside. And so, I thought I'm going to show this girl what's up with basketball. Cause she's a girl. There's no way. I'm realizing now how stupid I was thinking this going in. Like, how could she possibly be any good at basketball? She's a girl. Dude. She gives me the ball to start, right? You take it first. I drive the lane. This girl closes the lane so fast. And I'm going for like the weakest one-arm layup probably I've ever thrown in my life. And she not only shut down the lane, but like put her palm on the ball so hard and put her entire force hit me so hard, not a foul, through the ball. Like she just put her body in front and just as I was jumping for this little layup, she went up in the air, hit the basketball so hard with so much force that I was laying on my back on the ground looking up at the sky with her standing over me going, oh, and I was like, oh my God. Wow. Yeah. So multiple lessons learned. One, girls can be good at basketball. Two, if you haven't played basketball in years, it's not going to come back to you that fast. You you have to put some time in. And then, I guess also, just the lesson of being embarrassed by that whole situation because, oh my God, she shut me down so hard. And I was like, foul. But it wasn't a foul. I was just, I ended up, oh man. Anyway. So that was pretty much the end of my basketball career. The beginning of my basketball career wasn't really that much better because when I was a kid, my brother Adrian and I were homeschooled, and we played basketball for like 2 seasons in this homeschool basketball league, and the kids were pretty dang good. I mean, it was a competitive league. It wasn't like, when I hear myself say homeschool basketball league, I think of a bunch of like super nerds. Shoes are like too big. Socks, the socks like tube socks that don't have any elastic in them, so they don't stay up. They just kind of fall and bunch around the ankle. Little scrawny legs, glasses with tape in the middle. I don't know, man. It wasn't a nerd fest. These kids were like ballers. And I considered myself to be a baller. I mean, we were playing basketball 7 days a week without the league. And then playing in the league was just that much more basketball. I was playing basketball all the time. And what happened long term was that we didn't have much money when I was a kid. So I had terrible shoes, the shoes that we could afford. And they were not good on ankles or feet or for running or for anything. And then also most of the time when I was playing basketball, because I was not playing in the league all the time, like I was playing as much street ball as I possibly could, like for hours. So we're playing on concrete or street, and that surface will just tear you up. So I got like shin splints really bad. My ankles were all messed up, and my knees were trash. I kept breaking fingers and stuff. But anyway, so the first time I broke a finger was in that basketball league, and I went for a steal, and this kid it was like, I think there was a loose ball, and there was like 3 kids that were kind of going for the ball at the same time, and I stuck my hand in, and I hit this kid's shin bone with my finger, the tip of my finger, and it just like sent a wave, like a reaction of like a shock wave through my finger, and it just shattered my knuckle. So that was fun. And then I had to sit out for like 6 weeks or something, couldn't play. And then I got that rehabbed and got back in the game. And then I remember we had a it wasn't a tournament, but it was a doubleheader. That's what it was. And so there was this girl that I liked that I went to church with, and I thought she was my first girlfriend, And so I invited her to come watch the basketball game, and I was so excited because she was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be there." And I mean, I couldn't believe that there was a chance that she could actually be there. But this was back in the day when, like, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet. You ask a girl at church to do something on Saturday, and then you just pray she shows up. And so I asked the girl at church, and then she, "Oh yeah, I'd love to go," whatever. And then, so I spent a little extra time combing my hair, making sure my hair looked good for the game. I was like, not sure if she was going to show up or not. And then, she totally did show up, and I was like I felt an extra level of energy. Like like I went from all right, let's do this game to, oh yeah, let's do this. Whoa! You know, I was like so stoked that this girl was there. Cute little blonde. Oh man. Her name was Amy, and she was it for me. So Amy shows up to the game with her dad, which was highly intimidating and scary. So I was both excited and terrified at the same time, but I was like, yes, she's here, and I'm going to show her how much of a badass baller I am. And so we go to the little pregame little meeting that they had with the players and the refs. And the refs were giving us some weird instructions, like before the game, like, okay, listen, we got a lot going on here today. There's a lot to watch for. If you feel like you've been fouled or something, you need to really let us know. You know, make it like, basically they were saying, if you get slapped in the arm, scream, wow, you know, get their attention, basically. So the coach was like, hey, if something happens, man, you got to kind of make a big deal out of it. Otherwise, they're not going to call it or they're not going to care. So we were like, okay. So the game starts. I'm a starter. All right. This is new for me. And so I get put out there, and I'm balling, man. I'm ready to go. And so let's see. How did it exactly play out? I was chasing a kid down for a loose ball. Somehow, loose ball in the backcourt. Okay, and me and this other kid are going for the ball. Somehow, I got a finger in the eye. Okay. Now, if you've never had a finger in the eye during a sporting event, it's like getting shot in the face. And so this kid slapped me, and his finger went in my eye, and all I remember was thinking, that's a foul, and I need to make an issue out of it. So I kind of did a flop, basically. But my flop where I should have stopped was just like hit in the face, fall back, fall down, you know, oh, my eye, you know, got to stand up, walk it off kind of a thing, right? No. I rolled around. I rolled around on the ground, on the court, like 3 times one direction, 3 times back the other way, kicking my feet, kicking my legs, like waiting for somebody to come rescue me from this massive head wound. I just basically, just rolled around on the ground until the coach came over and was like, what happened? And I was like, I got poked in the eye. He's like, stand up. Oh yeah, I got poked in the eye. I can stand up. Wow. And then my eye basically felt like it was inverted, and I had to sit out the whole rest of the game and the second game because I couldn't even open my left eye. It was just, I had it shut with like an ice pack over it, and the girl left like at halftime. Or in between the 2 games or something. It was horrible. She didn't get to see me play. She didn't even really talk to me because I was sitting in the back of the the little gym there, like crying. And I was too embarrassed to go talk to her or anything, so she left. I think I waved from across the building, and then that was it. And so that was kind of the beginning of my basketball career there. I remember one time Well, I mean, it wasn't all bad because like the time I broke my finger, that was in a like a shirts versus skins scrimmage with the team. And so I was playing point guard, and I got I scored 6 baskets. Yeah, count them. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One-handed. Oh yeah, I stayed in the game. I played the whole entire game. I remember I broke my finger. I knew something was wrong because it hurt. And then I looked at it and it was like, oh, that's turning purple. And so kept playing the game. Couldn't use my finger at all. Like it wouldn't move. It would. I tried to move it and it was just stuck like in one position. So I was like, that's probably not a good sign. And so I kept playing, and then I remember looking down at my finger and I was swelling, and then like my whole palm was turning purple. And so I ran over to my dad and I was like, hey, I think I broke my finger. And he was like, let me see it. He looks and he's like, oh, it's probably just jammed. And I was like, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, get back out there. And so got back out there and played the rest of the game there, and one-handed, because I couldn't use my left hand at all. And so just played with the one hand, and I made 6 one-handed baskets. That's pretty impressive I was like, I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. And so afterwards, when we went home, I told my mom, like, I hurt my finger in basketball. And she's like, what happened? I was like, hit this kid's leg, and I don't know, it's purple. Let me see it. I showed it to her. She goes, oh my God, go to the hospital. I mean, it was like huge, swelled up. My whole finger was black, and most of my palm down into my wrist, and then it was like, I couldn't move it. And so it got cast up and stuff. Not cast, but they put like a thing on it, like a splint thing. And yeah, I had to sit out for the 6 weeks. But anyway, and then I just remember another time that when I was in the early days of learning how to be better at basketball, I had this moment. I had my moment, and so I was on a fast break, man. I was hanging back, and my team got the rebound, and I was back about, I guess I was kind of between the 3-point line and half court, and so the tall kid that got the rebound saw me open, passed it to me. Boy, I took off. I took off like a bat out of hell. I'm dribbling. I'm looking at the basket, right, where I'm headed. It's like me and footsteps. That's all I hear is behind me is footsteps. So it's just me, the basket in front of me. And I turn back. I look back to see how close the defenders are. They're not close. There's nobody close to me. I'm totally on my own. If I was Jordan, this is my dunk, but I'm 12, so there's not going to be a dunk. But this is it. And I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And in my head, I was 2 steps away from the basket, from a layup. And so I look back behind me, I stop dribbling the ball, I go into my layup, and I'm talking like my layup was epic. It wasn't like just little toss it up at the bottom of the basket to make sure it gets in there. No. My layups were like palming, because I had huge hands for a 12-year-old, so I could palm a basketball. So I'm like palm the basketball, like sides, like swinging the ball side to side, like I'm gonna do a windmill dunk or something. So I do this. I go into my step, windmill for my layup, and I look up at the basket. I was at the top of the key, like the free throw line, when I was in the air of my second step, right? In the air to do my layup, look up, I am like nowhere near the basket. And so I just switched as fast as I could from layup to shooting it, and I just launched the ball at the rim, totally missed, like got laughed at. The coach made me sit down. I got pulled out of the game. Oh, dude, that was so embarrassing. And I was like, wow, okay, that was a huge lesson learned. Like, if you're going to do an epic layup, you need to know where you're at on the court and not just imagine where you are and fly into a phantom. I don't know. It was a mess. It was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. But I wanted to say, watching the NBA here, I haven't really paid that close attention to basketball in the last couple of years. Once sports start getting political, I get kind of burned out. I'm like, dude, I come to watch you because you're not supposed to be political. You're like my break from politics. You're my break from the real world. This is like battle. This is archaic warrior stuff. It's like you're on a court or a field or in a ring or wherever your battleground is, and you're battling it out for who the best is. I mean, this is like competition and stamina and skill, and it's all these things that I love about sports that I don't really want to hear politics injected into the sport. I just want it to be about sports. I want it to be about the game, Even if it is commercialized and there's a lot of product and stuff, I'm okay with that to an extent. It gets kind of annoying when they have, like, you see somebody in like the NASCAR uniforms or the NASCAR cars where they're just completely covered in advertisements. I mean, that's kind of annoying, but I think more and more I'm seeing more and more of that, because even with the NBA this year, they went to these their uniforms. They have over the left, on the left shoulder, they have advertisements for like Motorola or Love's or McDonald's or whatever, and I'm kind of annoyed by that. But it's like, dude, you don't have enough space everywhere else. Like, everywhere you look, on the court, on the sidelines, like everything is commercialized. Everything is an advertisement, and then you're gonna stick it on your jersey too. I mean, what else can they sell? They can start selling people's hair shaving advertisements in the dude's hair. What am I trying to say? Anyway, you know what I mean. Hairs. Shave it in their hairs. Anyway, so I'm just saying, I kind of, once sports become politicalized, I start to pull away, and then I try to find something else to watch that's not yet tainted. But no matter what, I love playoff basketball. I mean, it just doesn't get any better. Like, college basketball, March Madness is so much fun to watch because the level of competition is just brutal. Those guys have a never quit, never die attitude, and their athleticism really, really comes out. It's the same thing with the guys in the NBA. Once they're shooting for the finals, for the championship, their inner monster comes out, and it becomes so competitive, and it's so much fun to watch. So whether it's political or not, I always will watch playoff stuff. And so I tend to not really care that much during the year, and then when it gets to playoffs, I look at the standings and go, okay, here's who's playing who, and then I start watching. But this year I was like, wow, where did all these white guys come from? And I know that's not like that's not something that I'm supposed to say, but it's not racist. I'm not being a racist. I'm just saying, like, I'm glad to see white guys making a comeback in basketball. There are a lot of white dudes on the teams and on the court, not just on the teams. Remember there for a while, there was like one white guy per team, and he was like at the end of he sat at the end of the bench, maybe into the crowd a little bit or behind the bench. And he was usually wearing a suit because he was perpetually injured. But now it's like I see there's not only white guys on the bench, there's white guys on the floor. Starters, even. And yeah, okay, so like most of them are Eastern Europeans who are like championship ballers in the European League, but that's okay. They're still white dudes. And it's just like, wow. It's where did all these white guys come from? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. Is that... Anyway, where's my music? Yo, 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 you can find the Tamale Mafia podcast anywhere. Just search it up. You can find it. I promise. I'd like to thank Ben Sound for this awesome transition music. Thank you, Ben Sound. You rock. And hey, you can join the conversation anytime over at facebook.com/Tamale Mafia. Got a whole bunch of cool stuff coming up for you guys, so keep tuning in. Subscribe so you can get the notifications when I post new episodes. But new episodes do come out every Monday and Thursday. But yeah, it helps if you subscribe. So speaking of racism, when I was a kid, I think you were way different when I was a kid. Like, the culture that I grew up in was not near as sensitive as it is now, where people are just like bitching and moaning and crying over everything. It wasn't like that back then. And we could get away with stuff a lot better. A lot easier if it was funny. But even things that weren't funny, like, I grew up traveling a lot, so traveled around the country and moved a lot. But when I was probably when I was between the ages of 5 and 10, I lived in one place in Texas, a small town, and that town had a slogan. Like, you could go there and see they had postcards, right? And then the postcard would be a picture of the old, like, downtown, black and white picture, and there was a banner hanging, and the banner would say, Greenville, Texas, the blackest land and the whitest people. Like, that was their town slogan, the blackest land, the whitest people. And they were cool with that. Everybody was cool with that. Now, things had changed a little bit by the time I got there, because I got there in the 80s, right? So I don't think they were allowed to hang the banner anymore, but the same basic mentality existed. And, so racism back then was a different kind of thing. And my dad was raised also in a different time when racism was a whole different thing. And he had experienced it in the 60s and 70s. And so he had kind of a different view, but because of what he had experienced and actually witnessed and seen and lived through. But so when I was a kid, he would play this game, and this game was not like, it was not meant to be racist. It was like funny. And so we would sit down. It was like our favorite thing to do. It's on Saturday mornings. He would get the newspaper, and then we would sit down, and so we would play this game called Guess the Black. That's what he called it, Guess the Black. And then he would read off a list of names. There'd be like 3 or 4 names, and you had to guess which was the black. It was like, thinking back, I'm like, oh my God, did we really do that? We did do that when I was a kid. Yeah, we played Guess the Black. And then he would read a name and be like, okay, Jennifer, Rosemary, Sarah, Shantavia. And then, we were little kids, so we raised our hand. Yeah, Shantavia. Yes, that's correct. I was like, what the fuck, man? I mean, and it wasn't like he was trying to be a racist at all. My dad wasn't a racist. I mean, he had a reputation for working with homeless and working with people in the inner cities and stuff. I mean, he was respected for that stuff. So he wasn't a racist. He didn't have problems with that. It was just he was a comedian. And so it was like, it was going for the joke. It wasn't going for some trying to be mean or vindictive to anybody or trying to be hurtful. It was just going for the laugh. And that is funny. Okay. If you didn't laugh at Guess the Black, then I don't know. It's like, you got to calm down, dude. I mean, comedy is supposed to push the boundaries and kind of make you a little bit uncomfortable. It comes from a place of discomfort. That's where comedy comes from. Like, if you look back in the old, the only people that were allowed to make fun of the king were the jesters. And those jesters were very good at their jobs because they could make fun of the king, and they would. And it would make people very uncomfortable. But out of that discomfort comes laughter. And so comedy has always been about pushing the boundaries and kind of making you think outside the box and trying to be a little bit unorthodox. And comedians should be able to say things that get away with saying things that most people can't, but you have to look at intent, right? I mean, I know that a lot of times intention is not given credence because intention doesn't change the fact if somebody's feelings get hurt or not. So it's like, yeah, well, you didn't intend to hurt their feelings, but you did. Okay, but you have to look at intention, right? With certain behavior, certain things. Like, what is the intent of this, of Guess the Black? What was the intent of Guess the Black? Was it to make us hate black people? No. The intent of Guess the Black was to have a laugh with our dad. And that's what it produced, right? That was the intention, and that's what it did. And so you have to look at intent. Was it malicious, racist behavior? Absolutely not. Was it meant to hurt anybody? No, not at all. It's like, I created this other game as I got older because I was thinking about Guess the Black and how we played that as a kid. So I made this other game one time, and it didn't last very long because I couldn't really share it with too many people. But the game was called Wig or Reel. Wig? Sorry. I mean, wait. Wig or Reel. And the concept of the game was that I would take a picture of the back of somebody's head, because you don't want to be blatant about it. You just kind of want to be subtle. And so you just randomly take a picture of the back of some random person's head. And then you send that picture to somebody and you just ask the question, wig or reel? And, then they have to guess. And, sometimes the best place for subject matter when playing wig or reel is a black church on a Sunday morning because the wigs come out and they're fancy and they're wild and they make for great content for the wig or reel game. But you can't really play wig or reel, can you? Can you really? Can you play wig or reel in today's climate? Could that be a real game? Hell no. I couldn't even share it with that many people because even talking about it, people were like, "Oh my God, do you really do that?" And like, no, I was kidding. But it's not to demean or belittle anybody. I mean, there's a lot of white dudes walking around with rugs on their head, and they make for great content too. But it's not to point any race group out as much as it is about just trying to be funny and have some fun. So, am I do I have some issues? Am I damaged because I played Guess the Black when I was a kid and it probably caused me to grow up and create a game called Wig or Reel? Probably. I'm probably a product of multiple traumas and horrible experiences. But I mean, you could think what you want, man. I really don't care. If you're going to be offended, then whatever. Get your wig in a twist. All right. Well, I guess I've said it all. I've probably said plenty here. Probably said too much. Probably like 90% of the stuff in this episode should be left out. Maybe not 90. 9. Maybe 9%. I don't know. Anyway, recording this on Wednesday night, and I got to get up and go to work at 6 in the morning. Early shift coming up next 2 days. Whoop whoop. So I think we've done it all here. I gotta call it quits, guys. Time to go home. Pack it up. I was fishing with Dax on Tuesday, and man, it was like, okay, buddy, we gotta go. Oh yeah, okay. Let me just get one more cast in. He got like 3 poles out, so one more cast on each one. Like, buddy, we really gotta go. Oh, okay, yeah. Then he caught a rainbow trout. Dude, he handlined a rainbow trout. It was awesome. I bought this little tiny fishing pole. It's like 18 inches long. And we were fishing with it, and it's so funny to use because it's so tiny. But it's a legit fishing pole. It's just tiny. And so we were using that and kind of laughing about how awkward it is and just how stupid it looks to use this tiny fishing pole. So anyway, we're using that, and then he was messing around with something else, and he looked over, and the line was just running. He didn't even pick up the little tiny pole. He just grabbed the line and pulled it with his hand, and it had hooked a fish. And so he just handlined it in. He just pulled it in with his hands and brought it up, and it was a nice little rainbow trout. But, you know, it was like, okay, Dad, one more cast. Okay, Dad, one more cast. And I was like, dude, we really got to go. We're going to be late getting you back home to your mom's. I was like, okay, one more cast. And it's like, man, that's how you know you're having a good time, right? And that's kind of how I feel right now. It's like, well, I really got to go. I should cut this podcast off. You guys are probably stopped listening about 30 minutes ago, but, you know, I'm having fun here and telling embarrassing stories from my youth. Oh, man, I got some more. I'll tell next week. I got some more embarrassing stories. Oh, my goodness. I did some real stupid stuff when I was a kid. So if you like hearing stories from my past of me doing stupid stuff, then stay tuned because I'm gonna try to bring more of those stories out because, you know, it's okay. It's good to laugh at your own pain, right? But anyway, said it all. Said plenty. There's so many morals of the story from this episode. There's girls can play basketball. Don't underestimate the power of practice. Know where you are on the court of life or on the court of basketball before you start your epic layup. Judge somebody by intent, right? Don't just cross them off the list as being racist. Anyway, I don't know. Lots of morals. But all right, you guys have a great one. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace out. The Tamale Mafia podcast is brought to you by me. The Tamale Mafia podcast is everywhere. Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Podcast Addict, and a bunch of other places. To join the conversation, go to the Tamale Mafia Facebook page, facebook.com/Tamale Mafia. Today's intro music was brought to you by Lim, Limn, and me. Our transition music was brought to you by bensound.com. For more royalty-free music, check out bensound.com. Our outro music is brought to you by Lim. For more mind-blowing intellectual electronic tracks, go to soundcloud.com/getlim. That's LIMN. And as always, thanks for listening.